ladies and gentlemen, boys and yes, girls, the 2% of them that watch my videos, guys, it's been 8 weeks. All right. We have the final episode of Peacemaker season 2. Yo, guys, what did we think about this one? Before I say what I thought, you comment down below. I'll definitely read them before the end of the video. I'm taking off the glasses now so I can concentrate. Here's the thing. I don't make the same mistake that I did, okay? Now, I have a tendency to, and I think a lot of people had this, where going into this one, I was leaning into that hype, dude. I mean, you know, I was hearing about all this, like, oh, it's connected to, you know, Man of Tomorrow. There's all this stuff going on. And, you know, there was so much stuff before these last 3 episodes came out. Like, you know, press was not allowed to see him. It was this whole shebang. And what did it all kind of come to for the final episode? What is the big bad boy reveal? I gotta say, because I hyped myself up so much, I'm a little disappointed. Let me be clear. This is a very good episode. In fact, this is a phenomenal finale. We wrap up character arcs. The emotions absolutely hit. Everything is there in the character department. I just think that we needed a little bit more substance. You know what I mean? We just needed just a little bit more. Like, you were making this perfect cake, but then you forgot to put frosting on the top layer. You know what I mean? The cake is still good, but if you just put in that little extra, I think I would have been just a touch more into it. My biggest complaint, and what I'm kind of getting to, guys, I'm going to go into spoilers, but before I go into spoilers, let me give you my score, so that way if you don't want to hear spoilers, you don't have to. My score for this episode is an 8 out of 10. I do have some critical thoughts for it. However, again, immense positives. I cannot praise this script enough. The characters, all of their different interactions, every single scene that Adebayo is in, dude, I'm practically at the edge of tears. I'm tearing up. Like, it's insane. She's such a good actress. John Cena has amazing parts here. There's a really emotional scene with Harcourt. Economos even gets a funny bit halfway through. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to love about this episode. But my expectations going into it, and again, I'm not going to let this really affect the score, except for what I'm going to get into. But essentially, I went into this thinking, yo, we're going to open a door, Brainiac. You know, I get it. You know, I'm jumping, I'm reaching, but it's just something where it's like, you see all the, you know, I watched all the podcasts with this where, you know, James Gunn was talking about, like, this is the favorite thing he's ever recorded. And again, after seeing the episode, I can see why, but not a lot happens in this episode that didn't already happen in the last episode. Aside from the last, like, 5 minutes of episode 8, as well as a certain discovery that's made. So guys, now let's get into spoilers. All right, so what are the big spoilers? Well, so essentially, after Rick Flag has the portal thing, he sends a bunch of Argus people into the portal area, into the dimensional rift or whatever, and they start opening random doors. So they go from door to door to see what's inside. One has these, like, ugly mutated Pikmin-like creatures, and they're like eating some dude's face, and it gets gory, dude. Holy cow. Then they go to another one. It's a black hole. There's one where it's the movie Sinners. You know, a bunch like that. I think that's kind of about it. Yeah, I mean, you know, then there's the big one. So they find one where it's just a grass field, and, you know, they find out, oh, it's breathable, it's livable, It's essentially another Earth. So yeah, and that's the big reveal, is the whole point, the side plot of Rick Flag, aside from capturing Peacemaker, was to essentially find a prison to send metahumans to. So if there are evil metahumans, you can throw them in this place they call Salvation. And essentially they're, you know, it's literally actually Monsters Inc. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's Monsters Inc. You know, like you go through the door and then you take the door away and now you're stuck in this place. That's actually the whole plot, is Monsters Inc. That's kind of crazy. Not a negative. It's just kind of something funny to point out. Yeah. No, that's weird. That is really weird. That it's so close to that movie. I'm gonna watch Monsters Inc. now. It's been a long time since I've seen that. But yeah, and then in the final 5 minutes, Peacemaker is taken by Argus and is thrown in. He's thrown into this Salvation dimension. Camera zooms out and you hear all these like alien bug noises. You don't see anything, but you hear that stuff. And apparently, according to James Gunn after the episode, the Salvation dimension, this is what is going to set up a lot of DCU stuff going forward. So, I mean, it very well could be like, oh, Brainiac's right around the corner or something like that. I'm just trying to think about how it incorporates itself into Man of Tomorrow, because that was the whole thing, is that this is like the prequel to Man of Tomorrow. Wow. The only way I could see it connecting is, so we have another thing that I kind of forgot to mention. So all of Vigilante's blood money that he got from stealing from like drug lords and stuff, he's collected all that, and then essentially Adebayo convinces him to use all of it for the good of the people. Then the 11th Street kids plus Flurry and Sasha, the cyborg chick, and Judo Master all team up to make this company called Checkmate, which I assume is going to be like an Argus sort of thing, but you know, for the good. So obviously, I would sense that in Superman we're going to see more of the 11th Street kids. We're going to see a hell of a lot more with, you know, this Salvation dimension. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued. I assume that it's going to open up, movie's going to open up, and then there's something going on in that dimension. Is Peacemaker going to be a big part of Man of Tomorrow? That's kind of what I'm thinking, because otherwise, the way that it ends, you would think that there's going to be a season 3. Because I don't know. I don't know how you could make Peacemaker... You stick him in this thing that's supposed to be a massive part of the DCU, so I would assume that he's going to be in the next Superman movie. But, like, I feel like kids that watch the first movie and that, you know, aren't allowed to watch the show, or just people that just haven't seen the show, might be a little confused if this random guy that was only in a clip of the first movie is suddenly, like, a big player. Or if it's going to be, like, he makes a cameo. But I feel like it's got to be more than that. I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about it. Again... The emotions, banging. There's a scene between Adebayo and her wife, and they just have this super good conversation about how they're just not going to work out. It's heartbreaking. It's intense. I love it. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much good stuff like that. I'm just kind of at this point right now where at the end of the episode, I'm just kind of thinking. I'm overthinking it. There's just not much to talk about with this one. That's kind of all that really happens. I kind of figured that there wouldn't be much with Keith, you know, Chris's brother. You know, I get they got to set him up at some point. I mean, you know, because he is alive at the end of episode 7. So at a point in the future, he would, I would assume, come back in some form to hunt Peacemaker down. There's just so much more for Chris specifically to do. And now he's set up this organization with the 11th Street kids. So, I mean, hot damn. It's a lot of setup. I'm just kind of hoping that we get more. Like, I want to get more out of this. I think overall, my thoughts on this season, it's in terms of character development, this is better than the first season. In terms of humor, I think the first season is better. Not gonna lie. Overall, what one has more rewatchability? I don't know. I feel like this one has so much setup and plot to it. It's a little bit hard to recommend. That's not a bad thing. But yeah, I don't know. Action wise, this season definitely takes the cake. Overall, for the entire season 2 of Peacemaker, I'm going to give it a super solid, another 8 out of 10. So I think I gave the first season a 9. Now, let me be clear once again. This isn't because the second season is worse. This is a very good season. I enjoyed it the entire time through. However, after watching all of it, I do still think that my feelings were valid about episodes, I think it was 3 and 4, where the wheels are spinning. I think because this show is only about 30 minutes an episode, maybe 40, with the last episode being an exception, which, this one was like an hour, right? With these episodes only being 30 minutes, you gotta pack more of a punch. And when just nothing really happens, and again, I completely respect, and they talk about this in the podcast, where in TV, you can spend a lot more time on characters. You don't have to focus on action as much. And I agree. But when it's only 30 minutes, I don't think that really applies. Now, if this was like Game of Thrones, like an hour-long episodes each and every week, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think, honestly, if you took episodes 3 and 4, smush them together, and, take a little piece of... It's tough. Because I don't think that any of the show needs to go away. I just think that it sort of hurt my watch experience waiting an entire week and only seeing 30 minutes and nothing happened. So afterwards, I'm like, okay, maybe next week. And then the next week comes and nothing happens. And I had to, keep waiting until episodes 6, 7, and 8 for really anything substantial to happen. So that's where it loses a point for me. Because I love all of the character development, the stuff with Augie Smith and the other dimension. It was amazing. Why didn't we spend more time there? I want to spend as much time as possible here. What are other parts of that world like? I mean, what's going on with all these other people? I mean, I think that there was a lot more to discover. Like, one thing that I thought was kind of odd is, I think it's at the end of episode 6, we see Judo Master following Peacemaker into the alternate dimension. And, in your head, I think at the end of episode 7, when Adebayo goes in there, she gets chased because she's black. So I'm thinking, oh shit, they did something to Judo Master. Judo Master is locked up. He's going through hell. But no, he's just kind of hiding in a house. And again, he said in the podcast, the guy who plays Judo Master, he was like, oh yeah, well, it wasn't in the show, but I like to think that he was chased by a mob. Where was that? I mean, I get not having that exact same scene because that'd be repetitive, but I want to see how he went through things. I want to see people's reaction to him. I want to see more of that, because you're building up his character in such a nice way in the 7th episode. I need more payoff. I need more buildup as well. There's just so much more I wanted to see, and I feel like the focus was good when it was on the characters, but these episodes just needed to be longer. Even if it was just an extra 10 minutes per episode, we get a little bit more of each, character or scene or whatever. I just need more substance. That's all. I guess going back to the season comparison, if I had to compare this final episode to the last season's final episode, dude, the final episode of season 1 is such a banger, dude. It is such a banger. I was making my fiance watch it with me, so it was my second watch. And that whole time leading up to it, I'm just so pumped to see her reaction to all the different stuff that happens in that episode, because it's an incredible episode. I think in this one, in season 2, it is a very satisfying episode. It is very satisfying. I don't know. It doesn't have that same satisfaction where I'm like, okay, I got everything I wanted out of that. I just feel like there's another 1 or 2 episodes missing. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling on for way too long. What do you think about the future of the DCU? Is Peacemaker going to play some massive part in Man of Tomorrow? Or is it going to be like a small cameo and there'll be a Peacemaker season 3? I don't know. But guys, let me know what you think. Tell me your theories down below, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.